Hello and welcome to today's video, hashtag crypto trading for today, which is Sunday, day number 29 of October 2017. Everything you do is within your own risk, own reward. I'm not going to spend much time on the Bitcoin chart. It's been in this sideways consolidation pattern for quite some time with prices right where it's at now, mostly in at like 57 change, 58 and change. Small pierces closer to 56 and 6,000 at times, but mainly around 57 or 5,800 US. Today is day number 7 in the correctionary phase on the daily 18 average. It is still rising, and as prices do hold well higher on the 50 or 5,600 handle, which is where the 18 average of lows is approaching towards, then it will only continue to rise, but it has to break it relatively soon, at least to keep this 18 average from not flattening out, because you can only correct within it for so long and maintain the uptrend without moving to a sideways movement. And it would be very interesting if this does happen to break out anytime within the next day, well, anytime within Halloween, November 1st, 2nd, upwards to about the 6,800 ballpark area, because within what has been stated within WebBot way back when, and this is many a weeks ago, months even, how late October, about 6,800. And I realized on a technical analysis level that if it breaks in around here, that's the most logical area you would expect the uptrend target to reach towards. So I'll be very, very curious how the rest of Sunday into Monday and Tuesday plays out. Let's switch over to XMR, standing for that of Monero, and this spans back to February, and really to the area in the area I started trading, which was roughly the 22nd of February. Price action in that time has barely outperformed the price of Bitcoin, but there has been many volatile moves along the way. What I'm going to do is take a look at this chart only since in here. For during this time frame, the market was in a sideways pattern. Within the volatility of the range, it was where price action is now in a lower area at about 150 handle. More accurate resistance level was north of 2, working out to that of a 33% move from low to high, with one occurrence in here breaking out, and then there was this move which came from a failed breakdown, interestingly enough. Because I talk a lot about buying low, selling high, and at this point, before this rally, using the strategy of only buying when it's significantly lower from key points or from where you last sold at, and selling at the same thing, key points from where you last bought or from where resistance levels lie, you should have a lot of XMR at this time frame. And if your sell orders are placed appropriately, one way of looking at it is somewhere in the halfway line. If it goes straight up and you have sell orders everywhere equally, then you're going to have an average sell at around 22. Obviously, you'll be able to buy some of it back, sell some of it here, and then be able to buy a lot of it back. Am I happy with my play? I've actually, yes and no. I mean, I should have taken more advantage of these types of moves, but I did. I got in on this on May the 22nd. I got in at 173 handle I got written down, so that would be somewhere probably around here on this breakout, I'm guessing. But anyway, that's when I got in. So price action since I got in, now at 150, I'm down. I put in half a Monero at the time, and I usually always had over one because I did buy next, so I would have probably not. I probably would have bought after this move. And my net stats within have 30.5 Monero bought at an average price of 0.0175, 30.072 sold at an average price of 0.0185. So within this bear market, and that was my whole plan to begin with starting in, because I wasn't expecting altcoins to have any type of sustained uptrend. I'm still not sure what to expect, but this is like the area of my average buy and sell. I have put in a total of 1 Bitcoin volume, which isn't that much, but it's something. At least in some people, it wouldn't be too much. And I have a 0.026 profit on trade so far. So one interesting way of looking at it is taking total volume traded, bought, and sold via base currency, in this case Bitcoin. If you're using Ethereum or LITECOIN, same thing there. So you take your volume and you divide that by, you actually take the percentage gain divided by volume. So I have 1 Bitcoin, making it very easy. And I'm up about, I got about 2.7, I think it is. Let me just look at my number. 2.7% of a Bitcoin I have made on Monero. And that would be 2.7% per buy. Now, I did this with another code in that of KOMODO, but before I get to that, I want to show this on a more shorter term time frame from just this period on, as I was mentioning before. And I got to put a lot of periods up to do such within the 4-hour time frame, but it works out relatively well for what I want to point out. Since the big top in here, when we look at its correctionary moves, we could first see that the next significant play was a bottom at 24 and a top at around 31. So the gain on there was about 22-23% to the maximum availability. So very much small gains would be available, depending on, of course, your level of great moves you are looking for percentage gain plays. But it was a correctionary move to try to correct the move of this gain. After all, we had resistance in here, came back to where we came from. Step 1, band flatten out. Step 2, establish resistance, come back to the band, and then break it. And any type of bullish patterns in which you found breaking in here, you had to be quick to get any sales. So a little bit of short or people selling it here because of the failed breakout. Yeah, that would be some of them for sure. But oftentimes failed move, fast move. And I noticed in my early days of trading, it was very common for me to get involved on the breakouts of situations like this, and then boom, down she would go. And that's how I learned the hard way that a good failed setup will give you a very fast move to the downside. And this is what I would consider a very significant move, because it's either going to be long and sustained, or it's going to be a large series or single red candle. Should have been easier to state. All right then, so what other type of attempts does it had? In here, sideways band, barely getting above it, not doing much more. In here, barely again trying to make it. Each time it fails, it has a significant down move. This one was pretty big, resisting the 18 average in here. It got sideways, but the best it did was attempt a level of resistance. And we look at this. What happened here? Is this a Bittrex fatality where most likely one person or a group of people with a lot of Bitcoin decided to just buy up the entire lot up to this level? One way of checking this is going to another exchange we'll go to Polo next, which is another big exchange. what happened around this level of key resistance? Did it have anything of the like? Well, let me take a look at that chart and then bring it up. So let me go and do that right now. And it's a case of getting ahead of itself because on Poloniex it gets up to 18. Okay, I didn't copy it. Let me get it now. And here we go. So this tells me that when this rally was occurring, Bittrex buyers were getting more ahead of themselves, more bigger buyers were coming in, playing the rally maybe because they were seeing the break of this resistance. So now I want to take a look at these two charts, but I only want to see it now from this point of view. See, an awesome chart software for me would be, okay, program, I want to see only from here to here, but I want to see around 150 periods. Give me whatever time frame is necessary for me to see such. But I'm going to guess I'm going to be looking somewhere around the 30 minute or 45 minute time frame for such. No, actually 7 days. So 150 into 7, that's 20 days. It would be the hourly time frame. So let's put up the hourly time frame with less candles. And I don't need to show the other chart, but we can see that at this time frame, it came from this low and then breaking out here in a span of one candle into the next. So in less than an hour, this thing just got going, and the buyers on Bittrex came in harder, and of course, nothing to sustain that rally. You always got to be thinking of the failed breakout, fast move lower. This isn't much of a move yet, but you develop a major key noticeable range like this. It's obvious if you break resistance, this is just not a good place to sell, I don't think, and nor do I think that buying in here is that great, especially in the upper end of this range, is that great of an idea, because if it breaks up here, we're probably gonna at least go up to here, and I would think at least a move to this previous low if it breaks down below support. Switch over to KOMODO, code KMD, and this is probably, I don't think it's probably, it's definitely the best code available on Bittrex anyway for total profits in which I have had. I remember many months ago in the spring a comment, and I can remember reading it where somebody said KOMODO is the real deal when I referenced it one time. I'm like, okay, that's nice to hear. We'll see if it is or not, but that's what I love about these comment section. It allows for awesome communication because sometimes that person actually does know information that could be beneficial. Whether this is the real deal or not, well, time will tell. But within the short term, it has broken past this significant resistance level. You could say a cup and handle, maybe even a head and shoulders if this left part works. But same thing, you have a move of this type of stature where you have a sell-off that makes it back to its previous level, thus not resisting this level right in here. Well, it resisted it short term, but it held. And that's huge in itself. Well, what's important is to make a higher low, hopefully where you came back from. Well, could have been this is where it came back from. And then you have this rally higher, come back, and this 18 average doing well, holding the level of support that it's pretty much at areas at the highest level of this field of time frame. And this is going back to the 18th of the month. So this is basically a week and a half highs. When we're looking at the hourly time frame, let's take a look at this at a more longer term basis. And within the daily term, this level of support of roughly at around the 30 handle was extreme, large, huge level, spanning July, August, and the start of September. So very much has held that significant area. It has yet, until now, attempted to try to revert the trend from this 30 low. It had a small attempt here, it failed. Failed move, fast move. Now then, it's came back to this key level as we stated here. You could make this is what I'd call a double bottom, like a W, double V formation. And it hasn't broke the resistance neckline on a clear level. But as far as the next thing I'm looking for is a hold after established resistance within the 18 average. When we look at back in here, and you're on the second red candle down day, you cannot be thinking, man, this thing has got to be going lower. Although, when you start to see the next few days as it plays, ooh, this isn't looking as good now. And in here, there's your warning sign of significant losses coming. Down she goes. Therefore, is this thing ready to pop? I really have absolutely no idea. It could. But I'm going to put myself in the best position without even knowing to put myself in a line for good profits. I don't have a large share holding at this moment. I got into this sometime in my early trading days, and I probably didn't take much advantage of this gain. I wasn't highly invested into such, and I never really was until in here for two reasons. Number one, my actual minimum bet that I would just speculate on a play in Bitcoin numbers was about 5 times higher than it was back in here. Then I decided to double that bet by buying another set before this break. Then when this break happened, I was able to make superior gains along the way. That it was, I was able to increase my bankroll for the amount of KOMODOs that I owned at amazing profits very easily. That I mentioned with Monero, I have pretty much around 1 Bitcoin volume, and I've had about 2.7 profit. Now this one, I got volume a little under 9 Bitcoin. For my net buys are 4.3 Bitcoins. That's how much I have spent on KOMODO buys. On KOMODO sales, I have managed to get 4.69. That leaves me with 39% rather. And I'm worth about 3.5% of a Bitcoin with the KOMODO that I own. So that's about 32.5%, 42.5% rather, of a Bitcoin. So then, I have put in about close to 9, and now I can try to figure out what my return on Monero was 2.7%, and the answer to this will be 4.7% because I just see on my notes where I calculated this from last night. But 0.42 divided by 9 is 4 2/3 of a percentage gain. So I think this is a very interesting way and tracking how well you have managed to make trades on your particular plays. If you are, I know a lot of you don't understand or wouldn't understand how to do such, which is how I probably want to make a video. But you need to get your history into a spreadsheet and then calculate it from there. Now, getting data, it's very easy on some sites, a little more difficult on others. And when you get it, you just add up your net buys, your net sales. You can figure that information out. But 0.4 is the most, or probably the second most that I've made on any individual code, with XBY probably ranking number 1. And that's not counting Bitcoin, which is my base currency. So something interesting. For example, on Bittrex, if you go to the orders page, if you click on this button here, you will that's where you will get your download in a CSV file, I think. And either way, one that you can put into a spreadsheet and get your data from there. On Poloniex, when you go to orders and my trade history, the page that comes up, you will be clicking on export complete trade history to make it easier to sort codes, sort buys, and so on and so forth. But for now, I'll go through more of these details and how to get your orders from other exchanges, because some of them are not the funnest. Oh, no, that's not a word, I don't think. It's not that fun on other exchanges to get data, but these two, very, very easy. Also, I'll try to put one out within the next 5, 6, 7 days for such. At least let me know if you're interested, because if not, then, well, you never know. People will search it, so it might be good just to have anyway. All right, thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.